you by Whispers to Humanity on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. My name is Didi, and we are ready this morning. Ozichuku is here. Good morning, Ozichuku.
Good
This one, your
morning,
face is like
Didi.
this.
Happy New Month.
Happy New Month and Happy Independence.
Thank
Are
you.
you okay?
I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
very good. Ignore this. Ignore this. It's Saturday morning.
Oh, okay. So Mary Jacob is not here. So
It's
Ozichuku will be
1 week
doing.
on, 1 week off.
Oh, okay. That's how we're doing it now, Abby.
Yes.
Okay. I'll sort it out with her later. So Zichuku will be having a conversation with us this morning. We'll be talking about gender stereotypes. That is our topic of discourse this morning. But before we start talking about gender stereotypes, let's go on a short musical break. When we come back, the conversation will start properly. Of course, we have a guest on the show this morning.
Sabi girl no dey too like talk. Animals dey in human form. Body man nobody like work, but you must hustle if you want job. You no finish they won't fight us. If them they run them no fit catch up. I know they form say I too righteous. No con they form say you too like us. Me no get the time for the hate and the bad energy. Got my mind on my money.
Welcome back. It's still the Whispers Empowered Show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. I told you before we went on that short musical break that we'll be talking about gender stereotypes and the effects it has on these people who are stereotyped. I know you're wondering now, what's gender stereotype? That is what Ozichuku is about to do right now. Ozichuku will give us a breakdown on what gender stereotype is all about. Ozichuku, what is gender stereotype? Break it down to a layman's understanding.
Okay. First of all, stereotyping is taking a person. You see somebody, you don't know the person from Adam. You've never spoken to the person. You don't know the person's anything, and then you start saying this person is a bad person. Basically, stereotyping is judging somebody on their looks, on their ethnicity, on their religion. You feel like you have a say in that person's life because of what they look like. Somebody might see me now and say, okay, because this girl likes, she doesn't like, I don't like wearing dresses or something. I don't wear dresses. I don't go to church. My church allows me wear trousers to church, but they don't know that. So stereotyping is basically putting someone in a box that they don't belong to when you don't even know them. And when you talk about gender stereotyping, is putting male or female people or non-binary people, anybody in that box where they don't belong in. That's gender stereotyping. People see girls or guys and they from the looks immediately they feel like I know what this person is going to do. I know who this person is. Like if they see a man with a turban and a beard and automatically he's Boko Haram. They see a lady with a dress and automatically she's doing runs. She's a runs girl. They see a guy with dreads and probably rings or something and he's a Yahoo boy. Sometimes they just have to see you with a device, a laptop or something, and then you're suddenly bad in their eyes. It's not something that we should be doing in this generation, in this century. It's stereotyping somebody is basically putting that person somewhere they are not supposed to be, and it brings them down. You stereotype people who you see somebody that is so nice and so, but because of their look, somebody will say, you don't belong here, leave. So because of somebody's cultural practices, they get stereotypes. People's religions, they get stereotypes. People's the littlest things about people's get them stereotypes. From this day and time, young children get stereotyped. I
How?
saw it. This my neighbor's daughter is 4, I'll be 5 years old. And she comes to my house every time. Like she's always in my house. She doesn't like dresses. She likes to wear trousers and skirts. Trousers and short sneakers. And I was walking with her and one guy said, this girl will grow up and be a bad person. She will grow up and she will do bad things. And I was like, you say what? That on her skirts. On her
So
gown.
automatically she's going to grow up and be a bad
she's going
person.
to grow up and be irresponsible. She's going to grow up and sell her body. She's going to grow up and do things that are not society disapproves of because of what she was wearing. Do you understand? So that is basically what stereotyping is: putting people in a box when you don't know who they are, you don't know Adam, you don't know the tiny littlest things about them. And the people get stereotypes in marriages, people get stereotypes in business workspaces, people get stereotypes in different areas of life. And when you stereotype these people, you stereotype people, sorry, you ostracize them, you segregate them, you basically put them down. And I was talking to Mary Jacob yesterday, and she told me everybody gets stereotypes. I was saying these people, and she was like, it's not these people. Everybody gets stereotypes. And it occurred to me that it's actually true. You get stereotypes though you don't know. You can be walking and someone say, because this girl made long hair, there's somebody that's giving her the money that she's going to do the hair. Do you understand? Everybody gets stereotyped one way or the other. One way or the other. People who don't know anything about you, people who don't even care if you're doing good or not, feel like they have a say in how you live your life or how you should live your life. That's basically what stereotyping is.
Okay, I'm a very realistic person. I like being realistic. Gender stereotype now, Africa, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
We believe that you raised some points about when it comes to dressing, dreads, earrings for men and all that. Down here, we believe that you are addressed the way you dress, and there's this notion that anybody who keeps dreads and earring has a bad side to it. How do we enlighten them and make them understand that most times it's not really the way you see it or the way you think because someone keeps dread and all that. And secondly, you said something about you having your choice. People would misunderstand it. I feel you want to live a free life without someone advising you or telling you what to do at some point, and you cannot live a free life because you are in Africa. People need to caution you because there's this belief that if you're left to live life the way you are, you'd go astray at
Astray.
some point
Yes.
and do things that you might regret at some time later. How do we like change this narrative amongst Nigerians and Africans? Because believe me, they don't even know that there's anything like gender. Some people don't even know that
Exactly.
there's anything like gender stereotype. They feel you're a small girl, you're a girl,
Your
I'm older
girl.
than you.
Exactly.
I have
Listen
a
to me.
say in your life. Whatever I tell you, I have an experience and all that.
Honestly, I feel like when somebody has their mind set on something, it's very, very difficult to change their mind. So, but people of the past generations that believe that a female has a particular role to play
Hmm.
in a man's life or a man's house, as long as she's married to him or whatever, it's going to be very, very difficult to change their perspective. Which is why is these young people coming up now that we have to change their perspectives. These ones that are growing now that we have to talk to, we have to change. Now, dreadlocks, funnily enough, dread did not start now. Our forefathers carried dreads. Our they couldn't before they started braiding hairs and all that, they carried their hair the way it was.
Hmm.
And over time it became matted and all that, and it became dreads. And nobody was stereotyping them. So why did it become something to be something that signifies that you're a bad person or you're doing something illegal nowadays? Or why does carrying beards, yeah, even that's one that they say that you're dressed the way you dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people say you dress anyhow, we address you anyhow. And people say I believe that people have the choice to dress how they want to dress. It's your body, it's your life. Nigerians, Africans will not mind their business. They also believe that one person cannot raise a child. It takes a community. It takes a community to do that. So they won't mind their business. So my advice to anybody is, in as much as we will still get stereotype, don't let it get to you. Don't let it affect you. This person doesn't have a say, doesn't have jack in your life.
Hmm.
This person will not grow you. They won't impact you. They will not put anything what will I call it? Put anything good in your life. They are putting you in a box. They are limiting your possibilities. They are limiting your strengths, your successes, and you shouldn't let it bother you. Now, gender stereotyping is basically putting roles on different genders. So, assigning roles to people based on their gender. It's believed in various parts of Nigeria and Africa that a woman, even in this 21st century, that education is a waste for female children or women. They are supposed to learn to cook and clean and take care of their future husbands. You get keep their virginity for the man that is meant for them. And then for the men, it's go to school, make money. It's a must. Do you understand? It's you make money, take care of this woman that you're going to be assigned to. Do you
Hmm.
understand? They're limiting these genders to what they want them to be, to what society wants them to be. And you see girls, young girls growing up with that mentality, young girls growing up with that You see, if you ask girls truthfully, what do you want? What did you want to do? What do you want? They say the lawyers, doctors, engineers. Why are you married at this age?
Hmm.
Because it's what my mother told me. It's what my father told me. It's what my
Sure.
mother told me. She married my father at this age. So I'm supposed to marry at this age, in this day and time. So basically society molds these genders how they feel like they're supposed to be, what they feel like they're supposed to do in society.
Okay.
That's what.
This gender stereotypes, is it present in homes, like in family? Do people stereotype their say their wives or husbands or children in some kind of way, and how can this be tackled in a family setting?
Stereotypes happen in family settings. You see, stay at home moms being told that this is your work. You're supposed to take care of your child. Women taking care of their children is like, take care of your children.
Hmm.
And for men, it's seen as babysitting. You cannot babysit your own child. It's your child, it's your responsibility, you're a parent. But it's like a gender role for a woman to take care of a child.
Hmm.
And it's like a gender role for the man to provide. And when these things are not met, it's as if they are failing in the family. You see, maybe when the man cannot bring enough money for it, you hear things like, "Are you even a man?" Do you understand? And when the woman obviously wants to pursue something else other than being a stay-at-home mom, you're like, "You're not supposed to do this. You're limited to this." Yeah, stuffs like that and things like that. So yeah, stereotypes happen in families, and I feel like they also school their children. People, some parents from young age, from very very young, start telling their children what their children should be.
Yeah.
You hear parents say, some people parents try to live their life through their children.
Hmm.
The life they couldn't live, they try to live it through. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. You see a young boy that maybe wants to draw or has passion, and the parents start buying him doctor's clothes, stethoscope, starts buying him books, doctor's books. So is what he's going to read. And then you school him to think that that is what he wants to be in future. It's not. It's stereotyping. You might think you're doing him good, or he's going to do something that's going to give him money and all that, but it's actually you're stereotyping that child as young as that child is,
Hmm.
as small as that child is. You're already schooling his brain to shift towards from what he wants to what you want him to do, which is exactly what stereotyping is. So stereotyping happens in families, in a family setting, for the man, the woman, the children, the parents. It happens to everybody
Okay.
in a family setting.
In a family setting, since we're talking about family setting, talking about stereotyping, and there's say a boy is a first child, and in the family, the mother is always telling the boy, "You don't have to do anything; just sit down and watch TV." The girl is meant to wash the plates and do it. Is that stereotyping too?
It is.
How?
It is.
Okay.
You're basically schooling the guy. You're telling the guy you're not supposed to do any housework. You're not supposed to do anything. Sit down, eat your food. Your sister will serve you. You're putting the girl in a box. You also meant that you're putting that guy in a box. The guy will grow up and treat women how he saw you treat his sister,
Exactly.
or how he saw his father treat his mother. You get, it's something very mental. It's psychological. It's something very psychological, and it doesn't go. So we need to stop. We also nip it at the bud. Stop it in this generation. Stop it now, or it's going to get worse.
Now that you're talking about this, because people, I've had conversations with people, and when they tell you no, you're working when you're and I want, I'm wondering how. Yeah, we are all human beings, and when it comes to chores at home, I don't feel personally, I don't think it should be a gender thing.
It's not in my house. My
I'm a
brother,
woman, I can cook. A guy too can cook. It's not rocket
it's
science. I
not.
mean, we're all humans. You're doing it for yourself, and you're hungry. So what's there to walk into the kitchen and cook? I've had this conversation several, and I tell you, no, it's not nice. It's not how it
How will
should
it look
be.
when a man is in the
Yeah, it's
kitchen?
kind of awkward for a guy to be in the kitchen and the ladies around. It's awkward for the guy to clean the house and all that. That the guy might even grow up and start behaving like a. I'm wondering what part of the world are we coming from? So I'm happy that you've pointed out that basically in a house, chores should not be a gender thing.
No,
You
it
should not
shouldn't.
stereotype it to
It
the guy
shouldn't.
and tell him you should be the one to wash the car. A girl can wash the car at home. A
Yes.
girl can start up the generator.
I
It's
do.
not a gender thing. I do.
I do.
So it's not really a gender thing, basically. So I want you to talk about the effects of these gender stereotypes on the people who are being stereotyped.
Like I said earlier, everybody gets stereotypes, whether you're it's consciously or unconsciously, whether you're aware of it or not. Now, for these young children growing, when they get stereotypes in a very homey setting to even
Mm,
start with, they don't know that they are being stereotypes. So when they grow, it changes the way they see things. I give an example of someone, a guy, probably a young boy who wants to be an artist or something, and then you school him to think he wants to be a doctor.
mm,
Yeah, he might end up studying that medicine, but he won't be doing it because it's something he wants to
to
do.
do.
And there are a lot of things that come with. He might go astray. He might start doing that medicine and fall and use the medicine for bad. Do you understand? Because you didn't let him do what he wanted to do. You try to impose. You try to live your life through him. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's the effect he has on someone that young. Now, when people are being stereotyped based on their dressing and based on they tend to become introverted, not in a good way. There are introverts that are that okay.
Mm-hmm.
People become introverted and they just start having suicidal thoughts. They start having this negative thoughts and reactions to anything. Everything and anything triggers them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So stereotyping basically it's a very, very long lasting psychological response to it. I saw something on Twitter. Someone said, why is it that when maybe a guy wants to marry a girl and maybe takes her to his father's house, she's expected to go to the kitchen
Immediately.
and cook with his mom
That's for the first time. Oh.
for the first time?
And you're even expected to take, if you see his mom sweeping the house,
Collect
you
the
move,
broom.
stand up immediately, collect the broom.
Then somebody replied, a guy replied, I don't understand it. If I go to a girl's house and her father give me plier to go and finish them,
How would you feel?
I'll ask him if his head is okay.
Or maybe you, for the first time, and the man tells you, please go and help us to turn on the generator.
Turn on the generator.
You'd be like, I be mechanic.
So it's like it's and funny enough, the gender roles they separate the gender roles and feel like, when the reverse is the case, it doesn't work like that. Do you understand? Like I just said, now the girls are expected to sweep and cook the first time. I've not married you.
Nothing.
You have not proposed. Nothing. I'm seeing your parents for the first time.
Like I'm meeting your family for the first time.
And
I want to know where you stay.
cooking.
And I mean,
But then if you're asked to come and do something else, it's weird. It's seen as weird.
funny enough, if the family asks the guy, okay, we need like 100,000 to do, the next thing you say, they won't carry their responsibilities, but I never even married them. So if we switch the role, you see that it's not favorable
It's
for
not
the next
favorable,
person.
exactly. In as much as it's not favorable, it also affects the two genders. It affects them negatively, it affects them psychologically, and it's not a good thing. I saw that notice and I was laughing, but it wasn't funny. It's a serious day to day life. It happens daily. And then you hear, if the girl goes, you hear the boy's mother say, this girl doesn't have respect. She didn't
At all.
take broom from me. I don't understand.
They tell you they are
Your son
testing.
cannot sweep. You saw your mother sweeping. You not carry broom from your mother and sweep.
They say they are testing to know if she has
She'll be a good
some
wife.
yards of wife material in her. How many yards?
I'm 0.1.
All right, if you're just joining, this is a Whispers Empowered show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri, and we are talking about gender stereotypes and the effects it has on these people who are stereotyped. We'll go on a short commercial break. When we come back, the conversation continues. We'll talk about the effects more of gender stereotype. Don't go anywhere. It's the Whispers Empowered show on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. And this morning we're talking about gender stereotypes and the effects it has on these people who are stereotyped. Ozichukwu has made us understand that anyone can be gender stereotyped. It's not particular for any gender. It's for everybody. Anyone can be stereotyped at any point in time. It could be because of your dressing or the things you like or people who you associate with. If you want to be part of the conversation, the numbers are 09092229922 or 09122677989. You can still send a WhatsApp message to the number 0806 9992999. If you have questions, contributions, or if you just want to be part of the program, feel free to call in and also send in your messages. I said when we come back from the break, Ozichukwu will talk about the effects of gender stereotypes. So Ozichukwu.
Thank you, Didi. I talked earlier on the effect it has on these ones growing up, these
Mm-hmm.
young children growing up. It also has effect on these people who are married. Let's go back to the family,
Okay.
the home setting. When a woman grows up, or a girl grows up hearing you're going to get married and you have to cook for this person, you have to clean after this person, you have to give birth to his children, take care of them. That's what basically what you were brought into this world to do. She grows up thinking like that. Even if she's suffering in that marriage,
Mm.
she has that mentality that is what she has to do for her marriage to
She has
prosper.
to endure.
She has to endure because probably leaving the marriage is seen as a taboo. And if she leaves, she's the one at fault. Do you understand? Like I
Mm-hmm.
said earlier, it's psychological. It's deeply psychological. Now, when she thinks like that, she unconsciously teaches her girl children like that, teaches her daughters like that, and the cycle continues. It's on an unending
Cycle.
continuation, exactly, an unending circle. So when she grows up thinking like that and gets married to this man that she probably doesn't like,
Mm-hmm.
even, do you understand,
Mm-hmm.
is forced to have these children, stays in the marriage because she doesn't want to be seen as the bad person, gives birth to girl child, automatically teaches them. She might not say, she doesn't have to say it even. She doesn't have to see her children down and say, okay, you're going to give birth to a man's child, take care of them, stay at home. She just has to stay at home and be mute. Her voice be silent for her daughters to learn that this is how a woman should behave.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In as much as a man cannot give birth, yes, the woman has to give birth and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the biological settings in a family, it's a 50-50 partnership. It's not a compromise. You should chip in when you can, where you can, how you can. The woman will cook, the man will cook. If she's cleaning the house, you should clean the house too. You both live in it, you both coexist in it.
Mm-hmm.
You both make it dirty. Why not both of you make it clean? Okay? She carries a child for 9 months. You cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of the child. Let her rest for that 6 weeks after postpartum. It's not rocket science. Okay? So in as much as I understand what he was saying, he was basically proving the point we have been talking about since. It's a 50-50 partnership. Chip in where you can, let her chip in where she can. If she
Mm-hmm.
can bring 2 naira, you can bring 2 naira, put it together. If she can cook, you cook, put it together. Thank you.
All right. I hope. Hello. Good morning. Okay, I think we lost that connection. Christopher, I hope Ozichuku has cleared the air concerning the question you raised about leaving the traditional way of doing things because we're trying to put an end to gender stereotyping. Okay. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Christopher, I'm trying to understand the point you're making. Are you trying to say that this should be like a conversation before marriage that I aid the family responsibility, you do your own part. When I need help in terms of taking care of the laundry of the newborn baby and bathing the baby, is that where you're coming from? Okay, thank you very much, Christopher. While Christopher was speaking, our guest walked in. His name is Chidube Ifani, public affairs analyst. He'll be joining us in the conversation on gender stereotyping. Good morning, Chidube. Welcome.
Good morning, Imolash.
Okay, go ahead. Mm, nobody's dragging heads with you people this time. I said nobody's dragging heads. Mm,
there are always issues.
How do
Kind
you
of,
how do you mean? How do you mean? How did you come to this? Did you carry out a research to come to this understanding that in every family there's a problem if a woman is a breadwinner?
well, me and you know very well what I'm talking about.
I
I
don't.
want
You're
to
talking from you. I can't know because you're okay.
I wouldn't want to digress more on that, but the point I'm trying to make is
Better for you.
the man is supposed to be on top while the woman is below.
Okay. All
You
right.
understand?
All right. Thank you very much.
So they should, okay.
Okay. Thank you. Let's hear from other callers too. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Oh, I'm sorry I have to let you go, but do all to call us back. So our guest walked in Chidube Ifanye. Remember, we're talking about gender stereotyping effects it has on these people who are stereotyped. So Chidube will take it from the marriage perspective of gender stereotyping. The floor is yours, Chidube.
Okay, I'm sorry everybody. I live at Tomogoma, so it's kind of hard to
On
come
the
to
road, we
access. Yeah,
understand.
yes, okay. So, I've heard from the callers. I didn't start the program, but I've heard from the callers about the family issue. Now, let me come in here. I want to start by giving an instance. Assuming as a man that supposedly the head of the family, you have a job that pays 250,000. Then your wife, you guys are based in say Enugu. Your wife now got a job that pays 1 million naira at Port Harcourt. Is it not wise for you as the man to resign your job and relocate with your wife to Port Harcourt?
Who doesn't like money?
You're not,
I don't think this will go down well with
no,
some people.
no. I'm coming. I am coming. Now, when you get to Port Harcourt, there will be other opportunities for you guys, for the family, because we're talking about a family here. It's not just you and your wife. It's you, your wife, your kids, your extended family. Everybody is involved. And we're talking about ways that, to make things easier for everybody. If your wife works in that place, she earns 1 million. That doesn't stop you from being the husband. That doesn't stop you from being the head of the family. Now, if you go, let me give you a stance with what happens abroad. Some men come here, they carry their wives abroad. Before 2 years, you hear that the wife have divorced the husband. Why are these things happening? These are things we should ask ourselves. It's happening because out there, everybody is given equal opportunity. Everybody is given equal opportunity. Your wife will go to work in the morning. If you are home, you can dress the kids, you can take them to school. Back when your own time starts, you go to work. There's this understanding in the family. I don't want to, when I talk about this family issue and head, who is the head of the family, I don't want to bring religion into it, because I totally disagree with what most religions think about man being the head of the family. I totally disagree with what a lot of religions say about men, because it's all these things we like to, when as a man, when it suits you, we put
The scripture.
the scriptures. When it doesn't suit us, we don't remember the scriptures. When it doesn't suit us, we go back to our culture. Culturally, this is this. I don't want us to be doing that. I don't want us to be this gender stereotype. It has spoiled a lot of things. It has made people who are supposed to assume leadership positions not to assume it because they are women. There are times they say politics is a dirty game. It's not a game of women. If as a married man, if your wife comes back by say 1 a.m. that have been in political meeting, you're going to frown at it. But as a man, if you don't come back at all, and tell your wife that we've been having series of meetings with the governor, the woman will not question you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as a man, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of these women first. When we put ourselves in their shoes, then we can have a conversation. We can have a rethink about how we stereotype this gender.
All right. Basically, what Chidubation, he's not trying to. I know some people might misunderstand the fact that maybe he's trying to say women should be given. No, he's trying to strike a balance because everything is about understanding. That's why he gave the. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. We are talking about gender stereotypes, so you have to listen and call back later. Okay, the caller before the last caller said he doesn't really like the fact that they always say men are the head of the family. We are not disputing the fact that men are the head of the family. And we are not saying that if a woman is taking up financial responsibility in a home, that she automatically becomes the head of the family. That's not where we're going to. We're talking about understanding, like coming to an agreement and saying that we can do this, we can help each other. Marriage is a partnership, just like Ozi Chichuku said earlier on. So, Mr. Chidube, would you like to talk about some of the things that the last caller before this one said?
Yeah, these things are straightforward. Like this last caller, he was talking about is personal, is personal. I want us to make this thing part of our society. I want us to make it part of our society. Let us understand that marriage is a partnership. It should not be one-sided. Every decision you take in a family, you should take it together, husband and wife. And some decisions bring the kids into it too. The kids should take, you should put them into consideration. We are not saying a man is not the head, a man is, no, that's not, in my family, I'm a married man, I have a home, I'm the head of my family. But that doesn't mean I will just come in and tell my wife we're doing this thing today and that's just it without planning it. No. Before I do anything, we talk about it, say, honey, see, how do we do this? And on most occasions, you find out that if she makes her input into that plan, you see that it will work out perfectly. I will realize I overlooked a lot of factors when I was taking that decision. But once I talk it over with her, and you see things just work out fine. So what I'm trying to say is that we are not disputing the fact about who is the head of the family and who is not. What we are saying is that we should stop stereotyping. That's just it. We should just stop stereotyping and say women are weak. Women are not weak, for crying out loud. When I was growing up, my dad, he fought in the Civil War, he fought in the Civil War. But do you know that if we have any injury that our blood comes out, my dad will disappear. He can't stand it. But it's my mom, the weaker one, no.
The weaker vessel.
The weaker vessel is the one that she's the one that will carry us straight to the hospital. The blood will be all over our body, but she will not mind. Yet we call them weaker vessel. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Okay, we have a message from Sean Telu from Olakwa. He says, I like what your partner is saying. He's correct. As of 2011, the Boko Haram made us to relocate to our hometown, Owerri. And my mom had to quit her job and we came down here and she got another job and we were happy as a family. Thank you very much. He goes down to the analogy you gave about a man who has a 250,000 naira job in Enugu and your wife lands a 1 million naira job. You have to relocate. I think this boils down to men at this point keeping your ego aside.
Exactly. I was coming to that.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. I wanted to talk about men and their ego. It's the second caller, Lauren Chomumbise. He talked about the ego and he talked about this. The Bible said the woman is the subordinate to the man.
The man is the head.
He said earlier, when men want something to favor them, they go to the scriptures.
And if it's not in the scripture,
they go to culture. Exactly. It comes back to that. They need to find something to suit their egos. So they fall back to anything that backs up whatever wonderful decision they carry in their head. So if culture doesn't help, scripture will help.
Exactly.
And sometimes they put two of them together. Do you understand? And funny enough, if some of them let's go back to the olden days. Our women used to farm. They used to rear cattle. And there was mutual respect. So I often wonder, at what level, at what stage, what generation did we start thinking it was not a 50-50 thing? It was a 90-10 or a 80-20. Like, where did we get to that we fell out? At what level did we just say, okay, the woman is under? At what level did we get to and we said, oh yes, the man is the bigger person?
Just like one of the callers said, women should be under, men should be on top, always. And
he talked about when they say women are the weaker ones. My dad used to say that, in as much as they say, sorry, my uncle used to say, in as much as they say women are weaker, there's one thing he can never do is school runs.
Hmm.
That the energy, the time, the planning, the focus it takes to do school runs, he doesn't have it. But I can close my eyes and do school runs. My sisters do it, my mom, my brothers do it. Do you understand? So, in as much as there are things that strength is not just physical, is what they need to understand.
Mental strength too.
There is mental strength, there is psychological strength, there is strength is all round. And when they want you to favor them, they go, you cannot beat me after all. I'm the man of the house. This is all the stereotypes we're talking about. This is it all encapsulates it. We should not put these people in that box and tell them this is what you're supposed to do, this is where you're supposed to go. Because society or religion says it.
All right. In 20 seconds, Mr. Chidube, your advice. I know this conversation is not going to end here today. There's definitely going to be a continuation of this conversation. But in 30 seconds, an advice on this gender stereotype.
Okay, I want to just advise men, African men especially. Let's just see our women, our sisters, our mothers, our wives. Let's just see them as equal partners in this race of life. That's just it.
All right. Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your calls and messages. Thank you for always making this program fun and insightful. Join us next week, Saturday, same time, same station. My name is Didi. Good morning.